Rookie draft strategy is going to be key here down the stretch. And so this position group does have the ability to make or break your rookie draft because we have seen it every single year. And even last year where we had guys like Puka Nacua, guys like Tank Dell, guys like who the frick else from a wide receiver perspective because I'm blanking. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, guys can go
Josh
in the second,
Downs,
third round.
Rashee
Josh Downs.
Rice,
Thank you, Rashee.
Jaden
Thank you.
Reed.
I stopped after.
Puka Nacua. I mean, even Michael Wilson increased in value.
Yeah.
Yep.
Demario
Douglas.
Serious. Now, but for every like second round guy, like third round rookie draft guy that we're like, yeah, we're really sure about these guys. There's a lot of busts too.
Like a Jonathan Mingo, which you could see coming from a mile away because Frank Reich drafted him.
How do we detect which wide receivers are going to be the one in later rounds that hit and which ones this year? What's our wide receiver strategy for this year's draft? Well, first of all, let's talk about the value at the top, and let's talk about the top 3 wide receivers this year in Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, and Malik Neighbors, not in that order because it's probably Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze flipped. But that being said, with the quarterback talent in this year's Superflex rookie draft pool, you're probably getting Rome at the 106, 107. This is a guy, Rome Odunze, that is getting super high marks from NFL scouts, from NFL analysts, people who know more than me and Nathan, and probably more than both of us combined.
Oh, I don't know about that. We're pretty cool.
Regardless, you're going to be getting some good value on not only Rome Odunze, but maybe Malik Neighbors as well. We're not big advocates for trading up in the rookie draft, but if Malik Neighbors is at the 105, trade up in your rookie draft. If Rome Odunze is at the 107, get into that top 7 range, right? Or 106 even, like to make sure you don't get Bowers at the 107.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, those 3 guys are all 3 looking fairly safe. They are safer. They are much, much safer than the top 3 guys in last year's class. And although we did have 2 guys at the top, Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison, pan out this year, JSN this year didn't super pan out. He didn't. So, and then even after that, like we had guys that we weren't like exactly, like Jonathan Mingo was up there. These 3 guys are all safe though. So I think up at the top, you're going to be good taking those guys, but there are honestly, the latter 2 are going to be values. In fact, it is a little bit rich for me. This is something that I've wanted to say for a while, and so this video is going to get it.
Confess.
It is a little bit rich to me that Marvin Harrison's going at the 1-2 turn right away.
How dare you get out of here? Get off the studio.
So let's think. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver I've seen, one of the best ones in my lifetime, and fantasy wise, like absolutely. And he goes like what, 105 to 110 conservatively, right?
Yeah. So kind of on top of what you're saying there, I just want you to answer me a theoretical question here.
Theoretical.
For Marvin Harrison Jr. to maintain his value, which is at the 1-2 turn right now, what does he have to do production-wise next year to maintain?
Because, I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. If Marvin Harrison Jr. comes out and puts 800, 900 yards up, like in his first year,
he probably falls to the middle of the second,
fall a little bit.
End of the second.
How patient are we as a dynasty community? And it doesn't really matter if he falls in your eyes. You're losing value if you're taking him there. This is the first time I've talked through this. I'm kind of scared. Like
I'm really scared, and it's not because I dislike Marvin Harrison Jr.
I love him.
I'm worried that
you're drafting him so close to his ceiling, so close
already. Because that's a few picks away from where Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase will be going for the foreseeable future and won't go any higher than that. Like Jeff,
I would not be surprised if Malik Neighbors had a better rookie season, or I wouldn't be surprised if Rome Odunze did.
Let me ask you another serious question.
Okay, very serious.
Today, right now, in a vacuum, do you prefer Puka Nacua or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Probably still Marv. I think his ceiling is higher. But it's close.
Same tier.
Yeah.
You would say?
Ish. Yeah. I mean, look at what Puka did.
Yeah. I personally am saying Puka over Marvin Harrison Jr. because he put up 1,400 yards as a rookie wide receiver.
We need to clarify something. Marvin Harrison Jr., the number 1 wide receiver in this class, the best wide receiver prospect in the past 10 years.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Yep.
Nothing against Marv.
Nope.
But it's about his price right
It's a market value.
It's a market value. My first tip, I think, in this video, and I know this is going to get a lot of hate, and I understand. Like, I love Marv. Again, his dad was my favorite player growing up. I love him. But when we're drafting him so close to his ceiling, my first tip is going to be down tier from that 102, where you take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Move back, get Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze and get a ton on top.
Yep. So trade back, or there's a lot of scenarios too, because a ton of people are asking us this question, especially at flockfantasy.com in our Discord, which you can tell them about in a second. But at a lot of people have like the 101 or the 102, and they also have the 105 or the 106. And they're like, well, I'm definitely taking Marv here. Now, who should I take at the 105, 106? And in a Superflex league, I'm like, why not take the best quarterback there if you have the 101? Or why not take a different player at the 102 and go get the second best wide receiver in the class of Malik Neighbors at the 105?
Again, generational prospect. Don't use that term lightly. Just don't love the price. And it's just risky to me to draft somebody at that price. So I'm going to move back, and I'm not going to do it straight up. You need to get a lot on top. Because the value right now is Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 1-2 turn. You need to get a lot on top. I'm getting a lot on top and moving back to select Malik Neighbors or
paying a lot.
People will pay it. Trust us. We've seen it. And the wide receiver strategy is really going to depend. It's a team by team basis type thing. But we do give out team advice in the form of this mother fricker right here. That
you
is
guys
a
catch on to that plug.
That team blueprint. I mean, I've done this for a while now.
I know.
But team blueprint. Flockfantasy.com/domain. Use code domain. Choose the mother flocker tier. You get a team blueprint. It's a comprehensive plan for your team, and also coming along with that is being able to chat with us one-on-one and build your team. So that's what we do. Flockfantasy.com/domain. Use code domain when you sign up and choose the mother flocker tier.
So some interesting data that I want to kind of bring into this conversation too, because this does impact the way that we approach wide receivers, not only in the first round of rookie mock drafts in Dynasty, but also like first round wide receivers in the NFL draft as a whole. So I did some data pulling over dating back to 2014, and I wanted to see, according to DLF ADP, what rookie wide receivers that were drafted in the first round of NFL drafts at least maintained their value going into their second season. So since 2014, 30 of the 43 wide receivers drafted in the first round of NFL drafts, which is 70%, at least maintain their value going into their second season. Mm-hmm. Since 2018, in this new golden age of wide receivers, that kind of marks that time, I think, 80%. 80% of rookie wide receivers drafted in the first round maintained or exceeded their value, their rookie season, going into their second year. So when you're looking at that data and when you're looking at that number, that big old 80%, which kind of reminds me of the tight end data too, top 6 tight ends. Yep. How are we going to approach wide receivers that are drafted in the first round of this year's class, and how are we going to pivot off of the decisions we made in 2023 versus what we're going to do in 2024? I think there's a really good lesson to be learned here. And that is, if you're getting a first round wide receiver, anywhere from the 109 to the 112, the 108 to the 112, you need to jump on that opportunity. You cannot pass up on that opportunity.
Yeah.
We're talking about Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, and yes, the bust himself, Quentin Johnston, one of the outliers who did not maintain his value. You are going to get 1 in every 5 first-round wide receivers that will actually decrease in value and be a certified bust, which I don't think Quentin Johnston is dead. It doesn't look promising for him, though. What I will say, it's absolutely worth the risk because it's an 80%. You have an 80% chance that if you draft that wide receiver at the tail end of the first round in your rookie dynasty draft, that he's going to at least maintain his value going into his second year. JSN, disappointed. He was supposed to be an incredible wide receiver in 2023. He did about half of what we thought maybe he could do, and he still maintained his value. It's incredible.
It's incredible, man. It really is. So, the next really portion of this draft, like, to me, there's a tier of just Brian Thomas and Troy Franklin.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's, establish our tiers. We already established.
Yeah, I think that's the next one. Those are the two guys I'm I think they have that upside, but I'm just not sure about. For that reason, I think I'm pretty comfortable right now trading into the late first if there's good value there. If it's even fair value, I'm doing that. Absolutely, because I think there's going to be those guys there available. And right now, those might be the big return on investment guys in this draft. Really might.
Do you think there's any wide receivers that have the capability of jumping into that tier with Thomas and Franklin? Are there any guys that would stick out to you right now that you're I'm not sure, but I could see it happening?
Ladd McConkey.
You think Ladd?
And Xavier Worthy. are the two that I would
Okay.
say. Yeah.
I would even throw in Keon Coleman there.
Yeah, I mean,
I know he's not as attractive. Neither of us are super high on Keon Coleman, but with the tools and the athleticism that he potentially offers, and we got to see it at the combine, I could see him jumping back into that tier. I mean, before really the buzz of Brian Thomas and Troy Franklin became super apparent, Keon Coleman was that fourth guy really after Odunze. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on for sure. But so you guys are probably asking at this point, like, yeah, first round receivers, of course, that's why they go in the first round. They're probably going to maintain their value. What about second round receivers?
Yeah.
And this is, I think, a really important piece to keep in mind when you're drafting in the second round of your Dynasty rookie drafts in 2024. I mean, we just saw, like you already mentioned earlier in the video, just this last year, not just day 2, but even day 3 wide receivers that hit. And sure, there was a lot of day 3 wide receivers that were drafted. But think about it. I mean, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, and Josh Nouns, and Tank Dell, all 4 of those guys were day 2 picks. That's a pretty nice hit rate.
Yeah.
In there, it's really, really solid. So looking at the second round alone, I wanted to see how many of those receivers hit since 2018, and it's almost 60%. So again, that's better than a 50-50 shot, and like it's not even a toss-up. Like, you are more likely to hit on that wide receiver drafted in the second round than you are to pass up on him.
True.
And that's something we have to keep in mind. Like, even last year, Jonathan Mingo in some of our drafts fell significantly because you and I specifically were super low on him.
Yeah.
And there was a point where he ended up being kind of a value, and it was like, all right, you do have to kind of take him here because he did go in the early second.
Sure.
It didn't pan out, but the same thing happened with Jaden Reed. Everyone was so obsessed, so in love, infatuated with Christian Watson that Jaden Reed just fell and fell and fell and fell and fell until he literally cost you dang near a bag of chips. So what did you do? You went and bought Jaden Reed because he was a second-round rookie pick. It paid off for you. Rashee Rice. A lot of people didn't believe in Rashee Rice. We didn't believe in Rashee Rice, but we invested in him because he was a second-round pick.
Right. Yeah.
And it worked. So you really, this is why we love talking about wide receivers, because one, it's really hard to go wrong with wide receivers when you're drafting rookies, because there's a pretty solid chance that they're going to increase in value. But at the same time, like, when you have questions about what you're going to do in the second round of a rookie draft, or the third round of a rookie draft, or the fourth round of a rookie draft, just take a wide receiver.
I was going to say, that's kind of my, like, when in doubt, take wide receiver.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks are going to be more important this year. They just are. When in doubt, take a receiver, like, especially in the second. There are high upside running backs too, and running backs can really pay off. But again, like right now, receiver is going to be safe, and everybody gravitates towards that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing. Like, I mean, you may not always get to take the safe wide receiver because they might already be off the board. But that being said, I mean, with the wide receiver position especially, the value insulation is insane. So if you really want to like insulate your rookie drafts to where you really can't have like a terrible rookie draft, some of these wide receivers are going to be really, really good options in my opinion. So let us know what your wide receiver strategy is for the rookie draft this year. We're still fine-tuning ours, but we did want to talk about that. And I really think the main thing, again, Marvin Harrison Jr., is nothing against him as a player and a prospect. He's awesome.
We love him. Hope he goes to the Colts.
And he's going to go top 5, and he absolutely deserves it. So, all right. Appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. Helps us out. Those two things really help and support the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you later.